All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to try and crack the code on one of the biggest mysteries in the art world. I mean, we all know the Mona Lisa is the most famous painting on the planet, right? But do you know why? The real reason? Probably not. So, let's figure this out.
And no, that's a serious question. Because when you really stop and think about it, it's a pretty small painting, right? And it's not a queen or some big historical figure. So what's the deal? How did this painting get launched into a whole other stratosphere of fame? Well, the answer, it's way more dramatic than you're probably thinking. Okay, to really get a handle on just how famous we're talking, let's look at the money. Get this, the last time it was insured was way back in 1962. If you adjust that for inflation today, you're looking at over $900 million. That makes it by far the most valuable painting in history.
But here's the crazy part. That massive number, it doesn't even matter. It's just a technicality. The real truth is, the Mona Lisa is officially priceless. You can't buy it, you can't sell it. It's considered a piece of human history that belongs to all of us. So how in the world did it get to that legendary status?
All right, to start unraveling this whole thing, we've got to go back to the beginning. The first clue to its power, it's not actually in the paint itself. Nope, it's in the mind of the guy who made it. That guy was, of course, Leonardo da Vinci. And listen, calling him just a painter is, well, it's a massive understatement. This was a man whose genius was so big, it's honestly hard to wrap your head around. He wasn't just an artist, he was like a force of nature.
I mean, this is what a true polymath is. We're not talking about a hobbyist here. Leonardo wasn't just dabbling. He was out there designing flying machines, pioneering studies of the human body, mapping entire cities, mastering botany, you name it. He was at the absolute cutting edge of all these fields. So, can you just imagine what happens when a mind like that decides to pick up a paintbrush? And his dedication? It was obsessive. It took him 14 years to finish the Mona Lisa. Just let that sink in for a second. 14 years. And some accounts say that a mind-boggling 12 of those years were spent just on her lips, perfecting that smile. This wasn't just about making a pretty picture. It was a full-on scientific and artistic mission for perfection. And you can totally see that obsession right there on the canvas. The painting itself is holding its own secrets, all these little riddles and techniques that have kept people staring for hundreds of years. So a big part of the magic comes down to this technique that Leonardo basically perfected. It's called sfumato. It's an Italian word that kind of means soft or blurry. What he did was blend colors so perfectly that there are no harsh outlines anywhere. And that is what makes the painting feel so, I don't know, eerily alive, almost like it's 3D. And that one technique is responsible for so many of the mysteries. You know how her eyes seem to follow you around the room? That's the sfumato. Or how the background landscape doesn't quite line up on each side. It gives it this weird, dreamy feeling. Then there's the fact she has no eyebrows or eyelashes. And, of course, the big one, that smile. Is she happy? Is she sad? Is she hiding something? It literally feels like it's changing right in front of you. Which brings us to the biggest question of all, right? Who is she? Well, the main theory is that she was a real person, Lisa Gherardini, the wife of a rich merchant. But then there's this other, wilder theory that it's actually Leonardo da Vinci himself, a self-portrait, but as a woman. Pretty cool, huh? The fact that we don't know for sure just adds to the whole mystique. Okay, so we've got a genius artist and a mysterious painting. For hundreds of years, art experts loved it, sure, but she wasn't a global superstar yet. For that to happen, something totally unexpected, something really dramatic had to go down. And here it is. In 1911, this Italian handyman, Vincenzo Perugia, who'd done some work at the Louvre, he just hid in a closet overnight. The next morning, when the museum was closed, he walked up, took the painting right off the wall, stuck it under his coat, and just walked out. No, seriously, it was that simple. And this theft just set off a complete media firestorm. The painting was missing for 2 whole years, and during that time, her face was on the front page of newspapers everywhere. All of a sudden, the Mona Lisa became a household name. They finally caught Perugia when he tried to sell it in Italy. His excuse? He said he was a patriot, just trying to bring it back home where it belonged. And if you want to know just how much hype there was, this is the perfect example.
The public was so fascinated that thousands of people started going to the Louvre just to look at the empty space on the wall where she used to hang. Think about that. Her absence actually made her more famous than her presence ever did.
So when the Mona Lisa finally came back to Paris, yeah, it wasn't just a painting anymore. It was a global superstar. That crime had changed everything, permanently. And that's really the key takeaway here. You have to think of it as a before and after. Before the theft, she was a masterpiece, admired by people in the know. After the theft, she was a phenomenon, a cultural icon. The heist literally transformed her. And that fame, it has never, ever faded. Today, if you go to the Louvre, you'll see her behind this wall of bulletproof, climate-controlled glass. Millions of people go to see her every single year. It makes her, by a long shot, the most visited piece of art on the planet. So, okay, we've kind of solved the mystery of how she got so famous. It was the heist. But that doesn't quite explain why, more than 100 years later, we're still so captivated by her. And here's the final piece of the puzzle. The theft is what made her a celebrity, right? It gave her fame. But it's Leonardo's genius, all those mysteries we talked about. That's what gives her enduring power. The heist gets you in the door, but it's the art itself that makes you stay. When you step back, the whole story of the Mona Lisa is really this incredible lesson. Leonardo showed us what's possible. He showed us that when you mash up different fields, science, math, art, and when you stay completely dedicated to your vision with, almost obsessive patience, you can create something that will outlast you by centuries. So that kind of leaves us with one last question to think about. Leonardo dedicated a huge chunk of his life to creating his masterpiece. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What's the masterpiece you're meant to create? What's your version of the Mona Lisa?